How's it going, guys? Welcome back into another video, and today is another episode of Movie Review Wednesday. Now, guys, today we've got an interesting movie. Now, I came into it hopeful. I thought it was going to be good. I was satisfied, but I'm kind of in the middle road about it. So, today we are talking about the movie that everyone thought was going to compete with Endgame, which it did for a day. It actually took the box office for a day with Endgame, and that, of course, is Pokemon Detective Pikachu. This one's very interesting. I came in rather optimistic because Ryan Reynolds was voicing Pikachu. And, of course, we'll get into my thoughts, but yeah. So if you guys are new, this is pretty much how Movie Review Wednesday works. First off, before I give you guys kind of how it works, if you're new, you like what you see, you enjoy the content, consider maybe dropping a subscription, liking, commenting, subscribing. It means the world. I don't do this as a job. This is just a hobby. I do it for fun. The support means the absolute world. Thank you all so much in advance if you do decide to potentially subscribe. But again, if you are new, this is basically how it works. So first off, I will give you the synopsis, and then I will tell you where it is rated on certain rating websites. Give you guys my review. It won't be too long. It'll be more precise. I'll give you the good and the bad. And then at the end, I will give you a ranking. So without further ado, let's stop dilly-dallying, let's stop talking, let's just get right in to the synopsis. So the synopsis for Detective Pikachu: ace detective Harry Goodman goes mysteriously missing, prompting his 21-year-old son Tim to find out what happened. Aiding in the investigation is Harry's former Pokemon partner, wisecracking, adorable, super sleuth Detective Pikachu. Finding that they are uniquely equipped to work together, as Tim is the only human who can talk with Pikachu, they join forces to unravel the tangled mystery. So on IMDb, it is rated 7.2 out of 10, 63% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 52% on Metacritic. And if I'm being completely honest, those ratings pretty much sum up how I feel about it. So we're going to start off, of course, with the good. Now, there is good in this movie, and of course, the first thing I gotta say is Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is absolutely fantastic in this movie as Pikachu. He's funny, quirky. He does everything that you would expect Ryan Reynolds to do in a movie like this. He portrays Pikachu, obviously, as a CGI character the entire time, but the way you kind of feel for Pikachu, a CGI little guy, is very intriguing, excuse me, and Ryan Reynolds did a very great job. He made the movie work in some aspects, where if it wasn't him, it may not have worked otherwise, and I think Ryan Reynolds does that for most movies he's in. He has that sort of gravitas, but also kind of a wisecracking smartassness. Excuse me, but that's what it is. He brings that to his films, whether it be Deadpool, Hitman's Bodyguard, Detective Pikachu. He does that, and he does it in a very great way, and I really enjoy it. So that's kind of the first point I have to talk about. The second point, which really surprised me, was the world building. The film did a very good job at building this world where Pokemon exist, where you can believe that there are Pokemon living together with regular people. They do a really good job at telling you how it happens, how it works. You meet the characters. All of that is done very well. It really is. And I have to tip my hat to the director and to the writers. They did a great job at portraying this world. And I believed it. Like, it worked really, really well. I know this film is more of a demographic for a younger demographic, but for me, I became intrigued and engrossed in the world. It's one thing that they did really, really well. The last thing that I have to talk about is there was some emotional punch in this movie. There was. I'm not going to spoil anything. It's not really a lot to spoil, but I'm not. There were times in this film where you broke down, you got sad, and they did it. They did that well in certain points in the movie, and you'll probably figure them out when you get to them if you go end up watching this film. There are certain points in the movie where the emotion hits well, and hits very good, and that's another hat off to the director and the writers for those aspects, and the actors obviously as well. Did a great job in those certain moments, but they were very far and few between, unfortunately. So with the good comes the bad. There was not a lot of good. The first bad is, besides Ryan Reynolds, most of the other actor performances were just kind of weak. There was nothing special about them, nothing really like sprung out at me. They were just kind of average, and you know, I hate to say that because I went into the movie relatively optimistic, but I kind of lulled. Like, honestly, like, I got kind of bored. And a lot of that had to do with the actor performances. They just weren't jumping out at me. They weren't intriguing me. They weren't making me want more. And, you know, besides Ryan Reynolds, I mean, they did an okay job. Like, the other actors did okay jobs. I'm not saying they were terrible, but they were just kind of mediocre at best. The next one is there is a lot of bad writing. So I said that the world building's great. Some of the scenes have some good emotion, but you can only take that so far. The rest of the movie is very, and I'm going to get into it in points later, but it's very predictable. It gets boring, and the pacing is terrible. You guys know I don't like pacing in a lot of movies, and the pacing is just really, really bad. I will move on to the points. My next 2 points have to do with the writing. The plot is very predictable. You can see where it's going. A lot of very convenient things happen in the film that have to push the plot forward. And yeah, that's kind of where I have to go with that, is that the plot's very predictable. My second point is that the twists are very predictable. You can see where we're going. You can see where this is kind of leading. And yeah, that just didn't do it for me. You know, I was waiting for the twists. I was waiting to see where it took. But as the movie went on, I kind of was like, oh, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. You kind of figured out who the villain was really quickly. The real villain was really quickly. And that, in part, made the movie rather boring. I'm like, okay, let's move on. Let's go. And the pacing, apart with the predictable plot, just made me tired. Made me want to fall asleep. Honestly, like, there were parts of the movie I just didn't enjoy because I was bored. Honestly. And I go into movies and I'm like, oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to be intrigued. I'm going to be strapped in. I'm going to be focused. Like in Us or in Endgame. I'm in. I'm focused. I'm watching what's happening. With Detective Pikachu, I was like, I didn't like doze off, but I was kind of like looking around. And I was like, what? Like, I'm bored. I felt like I wasted a large chunk of time. Not the entire movie. There are points that I said. There are points that are good. But a large part of the movie, I'm like, what, that was a waste. It was. You know, you may agree, disagree. This is my opinion. Film is subjective. You may love it. That's great. And I can understand where you will. There are points that work very well. They just didn't work for me. Maybe that's because I'm not into Pokemon as much. I'm not sure. I just think the writing didn't work for me. That's just me. The movie really only appeals to the younger demographic and Pokemon fans. Obviously, those are the target demographics. I'm in neither of those target demographics. So that may be a reason why I didn't really get into it as much. Maybe the plot, there were significant things I didn't catch because I'm not either younger demographic or Pokemon fan. Maybe that happened. I don't know. But overall, I just didn't really enjoy the film. Reynolds did all he could. He did a very good job. The emotion in some aspects of the film was great, but overall, all I can say is it was just a boring movie. It was a very predictable, boring movie that had some mediocre acting performances. That's really what I can get at, honestly. So that's pretty much it. I have to give you guys a ranking, and I ranked this a C+. So see, I didn't like rank it a D or an F. I don't hate the film. Ryan Reynolds really did redeem the film in a lot of ways. But overall, I couldn't crack it into a B-. I just couldn't. I wanted to, but I couldn't, because there were more times than not where I was utterly bored with the movie. And it's a shame, because I really went in optimistic, thought it was going to be great. And again, to silence the people that are going to hate, I enjoyed parts. I'm not the target demographic. I don't know a lot about Pokemon. This is just a subjective review from a guy that went to see the movie. That's pretty much it. But that's pretty much it, guys. Again, thank you all so much for checking out the channel. If you are new, if you enjoyed the movie reviews, if you like content like this, feel free to potentially, think about dropping a subscription, liking, commenting, subscribing, all of that. Again, it's just a hobby. It's not a job. I do it for fun. You guys' support means the absolute world. If you are new, if you're new to the channel recently, all the support has been absolutely fantastic. I've really appreciated it and liked it. It's been great. Thank you all so much. I'm going to be doing a digital code giveaway of Captain America Civil War, the 4K digital code, when we get to 300 subscribers. So if you are interested in potentially entering that giveaway, make sure you drop a subscribe. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next video, and have a great rest of your day.